Good evening. As a preliminary matter, this is John Regan, Chair of the Auburn Planning Board. Permit me to confirm that all members are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Ronald Brooks.
Aye.
Todd Corain.
Present.
Dwara Kashnallen.
No.
No. Sierra Samara.
Present.
Town officials and employees participating, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Town Planner Adam Menard.
Here.
Staff Assistant Rachel Pressey.
Here.
Good evening. This is the open meeting of the Town of Auburn Planning Board of Tuesday, July 12, 2022. Now called to order at 7 p.m. This meeting is being conducted both in person and remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, and extended on June 16, 2021. For this meeting, the Planning Board is convening in person and by remote access. For the public to join the meeting remotely by telephone, please call 1-312-757-3121 and enter access code 133-747-477. Or the public can join via computer at the gotomeeting.com/join/133-747477. Remote access information has been posted on the town's website identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded by the Auburn Cablevision. Is there anyone here in the audience tonight recording tonight's meeting? There being none, accordingly, those members of the Planning Board, employees, and members of the public who participate remotely, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and please take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. Please rise and join me in the salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All supporting materials that have been provided to the members of this body are available on the town's website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. Meeting business ground rules. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, Chair of the Board, will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the Chair will go down the line of the members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Please remember to speak clearly and into the microphone in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. I would like to remind the audience, applicants, town administration, and each of the planning board members to refrain from asking questions in regards to all matters discussed this evening without first being granted my consent. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. Turning to our first item on the agenda, we have applicant Todd, excuse me if I screw up the name, Osterkolowitz, Quality Contracting Incorporated, requesting site plan approval under section 9.4 and 3.2.5.7 of the Auburn zoning bylaw for two general service commercial buildings with site improvements. A waiver for a landscape plan is requested at 282 Southbridge Street, Auburn, Mass. 01501, map 25, parcel 25. May I have a motion to open the hearing?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Sierra?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Todd?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Myself as an aye. It is a vote. Is there anyone here representing the Quality Contracting?
Yes, I am.
There you are. Can you just give us a quick run-through? This does have to go through Graves for,
Yes, it
already out to
does. Yep.
Graves for our peer review.
Yep.
But just to kind of give us a quick run-through of what the
And again,
plans
for the
are.
record, my name is Zachary Gless. I'm from Existing Grade Incorporated, representing the applicant Todd for his parcel located at 282 Southbridge Street. Let me see if I can zoom in on this at all. So I'm sure most of you are familiar with that parcel. It's kind of the large vacant parcel that abuts Route 12 as you're heading into Worcester on the north side. And again, as you'd mentioned, we know that there's going to be no votes tonight. This is going to be requesting continuance, at least just to propose the project, kind of get some input from the board so that during the engineering review, we can kind of take into any considerations that the board has to try and, address all the comments that may come out of this. So the intent for the parcel is to develop half of it, kind of the northern half of it. Again, if you're familiar with the site, there's the power lines that kind of split that parcel right in half. On the northern side of it, what we're going to be proposing to do is put two 7,500 square foot kind of industrial commercial buildings with all the associated parking, drainage, grading, and utility connections. I know one of the comments that came out of Mr. Menard that I do have, I'll leave this with the board as well, just kind of a conceptual A&R plan that ideally, I didn't want to submit an A&R plan for this to have some sort of comment come out of this that would redesign everything. So I don't want to go through that whole process, formally create lot lines, and then have to readjust everything. Ideally, the way that I could hopefully get through this is get through the planning board with conditional approvals of the approval of an A&R thereafter to create 3 lots out of this. Each building would be on its own lot, and then be the third lot, which would be the remainder of the property. And again, I'll leave this with the board when I go. This is a kind of just a concept sketch of the A&R for
Little
this.
concrete,
Yeah.
go over the street.
Again, I can go over this in a minute, but the general layout of the site would be that there is an existing curb cut. I'm working with the DOT right now to figure out the permitting status of that existing curb cut nearest the power lines. It's there. I don't know the status of it, so again, I do have applications in with the DOT to make sure that the proposed curb cuts are properly permitted, again, prior to all of this going through. So the intent would be that we would use the existing curb cut, which is right down here. I'm going to try and zoom in on this a little bit to kind of show a better layout. So right here is the existing curb cut. We have Hampton Street as it veers off of Route 12. Here's the power line easement. Coming in off that existing curb cut to some parking, and then we'd have one building, and then spaced over we'd have another building with, a 24-foot wide travel lane in front of them that would go out to a new curb cut. I have a 20-foot kind of access loading area in the back to be able to access the back side of these buildings and provide, flow around the property to be able to, again, come into this secondary proposed curb cut. Again, I'm sure as most of you are aware, there is a rather large steep slope as it dips off from the road, so we're going to be proposing a large retaining wall, kind of a big block retaining wall in the back to hold this up. Doing underground infiltration with Cultex there's really no room to put any sort of ponds out here, so everything would be all underground infiltration that would then kind of continue on its way backwards.
You're gonna put a retaining wall on the west side of this lot, where it drops off?
So the retaining wall, to be able to hit the grades, is it's going to start right here, wrap around this parking lot. Because again, it is pretty flat right up in this area, so we'd be able to match the existing grade on this retaining wall as it comes around, and then along this whole backside as it comes around, and then we'd have a proposed dumpster pad, and the retaining wall would kind of terminate at the northeastern side of the property. So again, all that would just be to be able to bring in the fill, level out that site, bring it up nice and level, so we'd have adequate drainage flow, and then, it's kind of the intent of that at least.
Okay, just wondering where it's going.
I guess in a nutshell, there is town sewer and town water that would be connecting into for each building. And then again, that's basically the extent of it. I don't know if there's any sort of...
Sir, do you know, you know which water district it is?
It's the Auburn Water.
Or water? I just wonder what district it was. There's 3 of them in Auburn, so.
Yep, sorry, it's the Highway Business District.
Top of water district.
Yeah. And then again, so with the proposed A&R to see, kind of again, what would be happening is that I would be creating 3 lots, one of them that would separate, one lot line would separate these 2 buildings right in the middle. I know per the zoning, you have to have 10 feet to your parking for each lot. So that is a 24-foot wide travel lane right in the middle, so to have a property line that runs down the middle of it would still provide 12 feet to the parking on each side. And then I'd create another lot line closest to this utility easement that would create lot 2, and then have an access and utility easement that encompasses this entire development between these 2 buildings.
So your property line to the south is gonna be somewhere near those islands?
I'm sorry, the south, or the one that would separate the 2 buildings, or the next one down?
The next one down.
The next one down would be almost within this, the overhead, the transmission easement.
How far does this property actually go to the left on the page?
Go to the left of the,
How far does the property go to the south?
Well, I mean, we have well over 1,000 feet as it goes all the way down to the coffee shop down there in the.
Okay.
So it's,
Gotcha.
we would leave that as lot 3 down there and just kind of separate that out so that we would
Right.
have just the remainder be lot 3 for that. And
Okay.
then again, the intent would be to put a access and utility easement that surrounds everything going on so that both buildings would have the ability to use both of those curb cuts and then freely travel back and forth between.
So is the plan to put a water and sewer into each building?
Yes, each building. Actually, let me double check. I believe each building would have its own water, and then I'm proposing one sewer connection for each of these. For some reason, this
That'll be
isn't
up to
really
the
cleaned
sewer
up very
department.
well. Got one in color here that might show it a little better.
No, come on over. Let's go on that whole side. Trees to dump all the excess concrete. No, Hampton Street is, right? It's right across the street. Driven down there, was an old boat in there, there was old vehicles in there.
As part of the application packet, again, with the Graves review, is that we would have one sewer manhole that both of these buildings would feed into. You know, they have their own cleanout going to one sewer manhole,
Yep,
and then
that's-
one connection into the town.
It's actually two services, you have to have an 8-inch main going over to the manhole.
Okay, yep.
Yep.
Almost across from you now, a little bit off.
No, way up the street from me, man, way up. Coffee shop's right here. At least the floor there. Is there anything else you want to present, or you want us to start
I
asking
mean,
questions?
that's kind of, again, the gist of it. I mean, I just wanted to kind of at least get you familiar with the project, and then once we get the peer review back from Graves, we can go through those comments, adjust, and then if there are any sort of comments the board may have at this point that I could at least write down and try to incorporate that in the next revision.
Okay.
But I mean, if kind of wait for the review, you wait for the review, and we can go from there as well.
Going down the line. No questions, Sierra? Todd?
This might be a question for Adam. If they do subdivide this, are they allowed to have, although that they're divided in different parcels, can they share one dumpster pad and share one snow storage area as shown on this plan, or do they have to have two separate areas for each?
Where'd
I
you
don't
see the
think there's
snow
anything
storage?
specific in the rules on those items. They can share a driveway,
Okay.
but as for dumpster pads, that's kind of operational, I guess.
So is the current curb cut that's existing 74 feet already, or are you proposing to enlarge it?
No, we would be enlarging it a little bit. So again, it's
Is there a reason why you're going that large of a curb cut?
Swing for the truck.
fire access in and out of the site to make sure that we have adequate curb cuts coming in and out. So again, you can see there's an existing curb. The existing curb is from here to right here. We do want to try and put in the larger fillets to come in there just so that you do have adequate access to turn in and out of that site.
Have you done an auto turn analysis that shows?
I do have one showing that the truck manages better with the wider curb cuts right there.
Okay, can you provide that to us?
Absolutely, yes.
Also, I noticed on your regular details, the handicap ramp does not have a detectable warning panel, so you're gonna need to add that. for
Yep,
all
we can throw
handicap
that in there.
ramps. Additionally, you show on here, you know, you're doing hard curb or berm out to the existing curb. Obviously, there's a sidewalk there, so I assume you're not gonna try to curb through the side. the
No,
existing
we'd
sidewalk.
have to put the detectable panels there and make that compliant.
Okay. And is there any landscaping plan with this? Has Mass DOT, this is Mass DOT's right-of-way, have they required a landscaping plan, or are they?
We are in the process of working with the DOT right now. I have submitted everything for again, to get clarification on the existing curb cut and then propose the secondary curb cut. And they're still within their review period at this point, so whatever they require, I'm gonna make sure that they have it as well as it's updated and the board has that as well.
Okay. Are you planning any landscaping or no?
I mean, other than just some typical plantings within the islands, I mean, we'd like to try and get some leniency on that just because of what's being used, but again, if the board's not going to be willing to accept that sort of a reduction in the requirements, then we can go forward and get a full landscaping plan done.
Okay. I mean, you have a pretty wide area here between the sidewalk and your Cape Cod berm, where certainly street trees
But we could
or
absolutely
something
throw
along that line.
some plantings in there, and I can make sure again that the revised plans do have, adequate coverage along that to try and beautify that a little bit, so it is not just some sort of grassed,
Yep.
desert
Okay.
that you're looking over, sure.
Perfect. That's all I have for right now, John.
Thank you.
Ron, do you have any questions?
No, just, I think there should be, somebody asked about the dumpsters. I think
Yeah.
there should be a separate dumpster for each lot. And,
Yeah, we can do that,
I'd like to see an adequate landscaping plan.
sure.
Thank you.
Where is the snow storage proposed?
It's right there. You can see it better on the big plan.
I have it at the extents of both sides of the north and south side of that parking lot.
That's why I grabbed the big plan, you can see. it.
Oh, God, can't even read that.
Yeah. That's all I have.
That's the only snow storage, is it?
Yeah, no, that's it. So that's the only snow storage and that's the only dumpster pad. Far
Okay.
angles.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? I apologize. There is a snow storage.
I have one also,
Yep,
may
over
be
here.
too light.
I see it.
I have one down
Yeah,
within
I
that
see it.
easement.
Is that, are those areas gonna be big enough to handle all that snow? Because if you don't, if it's not big enough, you gotta truck it off-site.
Yeah, I'll make them as large as I
You
can.
can't go
and
dumping
I have
it
no-
over the, you can't go dumping it over the retaining wall down the bank and.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to. So we can, I can talk to the applicant, see if that's even a condition, that if, once those get overburdened and overwhelmed, if he's got to truck it off-site, then that's what we'd propose to do.
Okay, there's no problem with this retaining wall infringing on the transmission line easement? Usually they don't allow anything in their easements,
I try to keep it out, I mean.
right there on that line, yeah.
Yeah, right in here.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I do clarify that and can,
I mean, if you get permission from them, that's fine, but
yeah, I can reach out and see if I can get some sort of written permission to submit with this, if that's,
okay, the other questions I had. Were more on the details on your typical sewer trench. It's industry standard to put 6 inches of 3/4 inch stone over the pipe, not select fill. So you'd have 6 inches below, 6 inches above, and then you put your select fill on top of that,
okay,
and then you go up to your road base. Same on your drainage. That's usually an envelope of stone.
okay,
I assume that's going to be the corrugated HDPE pipe,
yes.
ABS. And on your pavement details, where you're going to have all kinds of vehicles going in and out, even where your parking lot is, you really should have, your road detail is fine, with the 12 inches of gravel, 2 inches of, should be 2.5 inches of binder, and 1.5 inches of top. And same on the parking area, 12 inches of gravel,
Yeah, I can-
2.5 and 1.5 inches.
Okay,
But
perfect.
believe it or not, that extra inch makes a huge difference when a truck's turning on it.
Oh, absolutely.
That's about all I had for any comments. Anybody else come up with any more questions before I go to the audience? Anybody from the audience have any questions? You gotta go up to the mic. Okay.
My name is John Storms. I live on 8 Burnap Lane. I'm actually to the south end of the power lines. But I know whatever comes on to the north end will eventually come on to the south end too. There'll be more building there. I'd like to know, he said that it was 7,500 feet. Is that of occupied space? Is it going to be 1 or 2, 3 stories? I mean, that's a lot.
It's in a combination resident building zone, right?
I don't know if it's combination or individual. I don't know if it's combination or not.
I heard you saying trucks coming in and out of there. That's something that would bother anybody. That's our residents that are across the street. What do I have to worry about? Anything?
Business, right?
Do you have somebody that's already planning to go there? You have no tenants, nothing, have no, okay.
Again, not that I'm aware of, I can't speak for the applicant, unfortunately, not able to be here this evening, but I
Okay. I know my neighborhood's got quite a few houses built on it since I've been there. I've been there for 25 years now, and all around it I've got houses, and it's pretty wild. It's getting crazier all the time. The road traffic, everything else enough. What I'm more worried about is trucks. Trucks are going to be pulling into this place all the time, in and out, like a transportation business or something like that. I don't
No,
want to hear it.
That transportation business is going to be over on Route 20.
Excuse me? I didn't-
Transportation business is going to be on Route 20.
All right, but I mean,
It's a
trucks have to
huge-
deliver
it's
to
a
you.
huge depot over there.
Yeah. And like I say, he doesn't know what it is, so, or what's going in there.
Right, but I can't see this being, I mean, is this going to be office space or just warehouse space?
I think the intent is, you know, if a plumber wanted to set up a shop, this would be a perfect building where, you know, maybe a plumber would have a shop set up here, or
Okay.
something of that nature, but it's not gonna be a.
Small contractor?
Exactly, a small contractor with, you know, there's no room to store vehicles or machinery on site.
Oh, no, it isn't. Yeah, but they're gonna, be getting fed by the water and sewer, but you just brought up a good point.
Okay.
Grease traps. Oh, drop it.
One of the things on my street that I really hate is the water problem that comes to an end there. All the water, all this rotten water comes right to the end and ends right in front of my house. A long time ago, they said they were going to cut a line from the street and bring it down into the main street. Now, the water you have and the sewage you have, is that all right off the street? Is there anything you have to do to? Okay, yeah, with it. Yeah, exactly. All right, that's,
No,
so you said, is it one building or two buildings?
true.
Two buildings? Are they both 7,500 feet, or are they, is that the total? Okay. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Anyone else? One of the other questions that just came to my mind is if there's any vehicles going in these buildings, like you said, maybe a plumber, if he goes in there, works on his truck or anything, you have to have a oil-water separator.
Yep.
Before it goes into the recharge system that you have proposed.
Yeah, I can, I'll make sure I definitely clarify that with the owner, that if that's the case, we can throw one of those on, you know,
You
make
have to
sure
have
that
one,
it's
you have to
compliant
have
on
one
that
for each,
side.
you have to have one for each building. Todd, you had another question?
Yeah, I don't know if I missed it. Is there a lighting plan with this, or is there any plans to do
I didn't see it either.
outdoor lighting in the parking lot?
The plan would not to be have lighting within the parking lot, but just do wall packs on the building to illuminate the sidewalk and a little bit out. If I do have to throw any sort of lighting in and the board would require it, I do have islands on both sides that I can quickly throw those in and do a lighting plan with. But, you know, I think at this point, we're intending just to do wall packs and not do any sort of illuminated lighting within the parking lot.
Okay, can you at least show the lighting plan based on those lights?
Yes.
What they'll illuminate?
Absolutely.
No one else has any questions? May I have a motion to continue this to our next meeting, August 9th?
I'll make the motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Sierra?
Aye.
Todd?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Myself, John Regan, and I. It is a vote.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Oh, appreciate yours. Yeah, it's back there. Next on the agenda tonight is applicant for 9 St. Mark Street LLC requesting site plan approval under section 9.4 of the Auburn zoning bylaw for an expansion of an existing light manufacturing facility at 9 Mark Street, Auburn, Mass. 01501, map 58, parcel 44. This has been continued from our 6/28 meeting. Is there anyone here representing
Good evening. Jim Bernardino with CMG Engineering, representing the applicant, 9 St. Mark Street LLC. My counterpart, David Feist, was here a couple weeks ago and did the initial presentation. To give you a quick update as to where we stand, some of them may have been a little redundant as to what David presented last time, but we have received Conservation Commission approval. They have voted, closed the hearing. We're still waiting. Final order of conditions pending. The Zoning Board of Appeals had issued their special permit for the work within the Groundwater Protection Overlay District. We've recently received, just the beginning of last week, just after the holiday, the comments from the peer reviewer, Graves Engineering. We've gone through that, and we've actually addressed those on the site plan. However, we're waiting to resubmit to the board in case there's an additional feedback or responses to their comments. I can take the opportunity to run through each of those comments. It's a relatively short letter from Graves.
Yeah.
Long story short, we take no exceptions to addressing all those comments. They're relatively benign.
Yeah, they are. I was gonna say, there's no need to go through them step by
Right,
step.
okay, yeah, we're gonna change the invert so they match. One item that's not of concern, but something that I would definitely want to point out to the board was the proposed building that's located within the sewer easement. We are projecting into the sewer easement slightly. However, we've located the sewer lines, and, the sewer line's not in the middle of the easement. The sewer line's actually outside the easement. So we're confident in that. We have spoken and been coordinating with the sewer department. And as a belt and suspenders, we're going to go out there and actually do ground penetrating radar to make sure we pinpoint it out there in case someone in their bad wisdom, when they were constructing, hit some ledge and decided just to bend the pipe in the wrong direction. It happens. So we're going to be doing that as a belt and suspenders, and obviously all of that work's going to be coordinated with the sewer department, reviewed, and we do need to get sewer permits from them. So obviously they're on top of their game over there at the DPW and the sewer department. Other than that, very straightforward comments. If the board doesn't have any concern with us addressing those comments, we would ask the board to maybe entertain a consideration of closing the hearing and making a vote contingent upon us, providing those final plans, documents in coordination with Graves Engineering, to their satisfaction. I don't think there'll be any issues with that from the Graves perspective, but obviously want to request that from the board. If there's any other comments or questions that we can answer, we'd be glad to. There was a handful of questions and comments that were brought forth by various board members last time. We've made note of those, such as assuring the consistency with the pavement sections, the base course materials, the castings for the manhole structures. All those are getting incorporated, as well as a truck turning template. We have that designed. We did that as the initial review of the project. WB50 could come into the site and actually go through the building and out, even though the design or the anticipated vehicles going through the building are not. They're going to be the single unit, larger single unit flatbed trucks, but we have designed it to accommodate larger vehicles just for future considerations. Down the road, if a different tenant comes in, the property owner does have the flexibility to accommodate those type of light industrial uses that could potentially come forth. So other than that, I'll turn it back over to the board for continued dialogue.
Can I just ask you to stand at the microphone so that you can be heard? Thank you.
Get away from it a little bit.
It's okay. I can hear you fine. Any questions for anybody on the board?
Did you submit the turning radius, the auto turn radius to us for review? I know that was one of my questions and it was promised to be submitted to us for review for this meeting.
No, we have not submitted it. We've conducted it and have it. So unfortunately, I do not have a copy with me this evening for that. But I rest assured, or maybe if you are open to it, have Graves review the truck turning template as a potential condition of approval as we're going to continue. We can, obviously, we're open to providing that to the board, but I would.
We can make that contingent,
The other question is, I think last time, just looking at my notes from last time, we were waiting on a review by Auburn Fire Department. Has that come in?
I haven't heard from him. I know he was away. So I'll
We haven't heard
check
from
it out.
them either.
It'll also be contingent on that as
How
well.
about Auburn Water? We were waiting on that as well.
I sent them the stuff and they don't always.
From, in regards to the water, there's no proposed modification to the water service being proposed. All the existing utilities are going to get pulled off of the existing building infrastructure.
What size is the water service into the building now?
I believe that it's 1.5 inches. I'm not 100% sure, but I could,
Do you have a sprinkler system inside?
That is a good question. I'm not 100% positive on that. But obviously, with the
Do,
building
actually.
permit, all the code requirements would be brought forth with the detailed architectural plans and the building code compliance aspect of it.
Yeah, if you have sprinklers in there, 1.5's not gonna cut it. They're gonna make you put at least a 4-inch in, if not a 6.
Well, yeah,
Fire
if
lighting.
it had a fire service, it would have been a 4 or a 6.
Yep.
So I'm not 100% sure on that aspect of
I
it.
don't know what the building requirement is for sprinklers where it's light industrial, they may.
One last question, probably for Adam. In our zoning, are they allowed to have light overflow onto other private property? Or does all their light have to be contained on their property?
Supposed to be contained on the property.
Because if I'm reading their lighting plan correctly, it looks like it is overflowing onto the abutting property.
Play with me.
This is the property line.
This is the area of lighting. So they gotta put the shields on the back of the light poles.
Gotta be 0.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, the next thing up here.
My small version, I think.
You gotta see shit.
And now I gotta. Unless you can see it and it says zeros, but I just, I can't.
they do extrapolate right to the property line, but just because there's a number there doesn't mean that
It's not a number, it's actually drawn out on the plan as a zone of influence for the lighting. It's beyond the property line.
Yeah, it's beyond the property line. I just can't see whether those are zeros beyond the property line or if those are, what numbers those are.
Can't read them. Can't read that. No way.
the zone of influence is, well, the 0 is only. Well,
So they're all zeros behind the property line? There's no light beyond the property line?
there's nothing behind the property.
Those are all zeros?
Okay. Point one's right around here, so these are all zeros.
Okay.
Yeah, all we have is light packs for the building here and here,
Okay.
so there's no site lighting.
Okay.
Any other questions? You all set? May I have a motion to approve?
Close.
I gotta close the hearing. May I have a motion to close the hearing?
I'll make the motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Sarah?
Aye.
Todd?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Myself, John Regan, aye is a vote. May I have a motion to approve this plan contingent upon Graves' comments, the fire department's comments for turning radius, and I don't know if we have to, and the Auburn Water and Sewer approval as well. Is there anything else we need to add to that contingency? Can you think of anything else?
No, I
Pretty much
think
covers
that's-
everything, right?
I think that's all of it that I had.
Okay. So may I have a motion to approve this plan with the contingent of complying with Graves' comments, fire department approval, water department approval, sewer department approval?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Todd?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Myself, John Regan, is an aye. It is a vote.
Sierra.
Sierra.
She wasn't here at the last meeting.
Wasn't here at the last meeting, okay.
I wasn't excluding you. I was gonna explain it afterwards.
I
I was gonna explain it
I
afterwards.
need some education anyways before I can.
You're welcome.
Clearly, because Ronnie and I were like, wait, you gotta get a vote.
Other business, discussion, reorganize. So I guess we're supposed to reorganize tonight. Nominate chairman, vice chairman.
I will nominate John Reagan as chairman.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ron? I can't vote, so it is a vote.
And I'll nominate Todd Corain as vice chairman.
I'll second it.
Aye.
Abstain?
What's that?
I said abstain.
You have to.
I know, that's,
All those in favor, Sierra?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Myself, John Regan, aye. It is a vote. Welcome to the board, Todd. Registry of deed signatures, I believe everybody's done that except for, did you do it, Sierra?
Did it, yeah, I
Okay.
did it before the meeting.
Okay. Decision, 712 West Tech Drive site plan. That was signed.
Signed.
And the same with Packagug Farms, partial release of Covenant 7, signed.
Signed.
There's no new business unforeseen by me. Any new business by the town planner?
We could use an alternate member. I know it's great we got a Sierra to fill a full spot, but we could still use an alternate.
Do you have any friends, Sierra?
I'll ask around, but I'm kind of a strange animal in my age group who wants to participate in government.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Anything else from anybody?
Do you want to do the
May
minutes?
I have what's that?
Minutes?
Oh, yeah, minutes. May I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from our prior meeting as submitted?
I'll make the motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Todd?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Myself, John Regan, and I. It is a vote.
I just have one question before do we need a second person for the CMRPC since Steve is no longer,
He could still be on the
Can still
CMR.
be on it. There's supposed to be a selectman on it.
Okay.
There has to be somebody from planning on it.
yeah,
You're on it, aren't you?
I'm not a resident.
yeah, I've been on, so.
I used to be when I was in Leicester, but. We'll check to see, make sure Steve still is willing to go to those.
Anything else? May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Sierra?
Aye.
Todd?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Myself, John Regan, aye. It is a vote. Meeting is adjourned.